You know what's worse than being rejected? Being ignored, being dismissed, being treated like you never existed in the first place. The no you could handle, the no gave you closure, the no was honest. But the silence, the disappearance, that broke something inside you that you're still trying to fix. If this feels like I'm reading your mind, hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments what hurts more, the rejection or the silence afterward. I read every single comment, and your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. Listen to me carefully. When someone disappears on you, when they ghost you, when they treat you like you're disposable, that's not about your worth. That's about their character. That's about their inability to face discomfort, to have difficult conversations, to treat another human being with basic dignity. But here's what happens to you. You start questioning everything. You replay every conversation, every text, every moment, looking for clues about what you did wrong. You torture yourself with questions that have no answers because the person who could answer them chose to vanish instead of being honest. And the worst part? You start creating stories. You tell yourself maybe they're busy, maybe they lost their phone, maybe they're going through something. You make excuses for their silence because accepting the truth feels too painful. The truth is simple. They chose to disappear. Carl Rogers talked about unconditional positive regard, the idea that every person deserves to be seen, heard, and valued. When someone disappears on you, they're violating that basic human need. They're saying you don't even deserve an explanation. And that wounds something deep inside you. You start believing that maybe you're too much, maybe you're not enough, maybe you're fundamentally flawed in some way that makes people want to run from you. But that's not true. That's trauma talking, not truth. The disappearance says nothing about your lovability and everything about their emotional maturity. Healthy people don't vanish. Healthy people have conversations. Healthy people can say, I don't think we're a match, or I'm not ready for this, or I need space. They don't just evaporate like they never existed. Here's what you need to understand about the psychology of disappearance. It's a defense mechanism. It's emotional avoidance at its finest. When someone disappears, they're protecting themselves from the discomfort of honesty, from the weight of another person's emotions, from the responsibility of being human. John Bowlby's attachment theory shows us that when someone suddenly withdraws without explanation, it triggers our deepest fears of abandonment. It activates the same neural pathways that were formed when we were children, afraid of being left alone. That's why it hurts so much. That's why it feels like survival. But you survived then and you're surviving now. The difference is that now you have a choice. You can choose to stop making their absence about your worth. You can choose to see their disappearance as information about them, not about you. Here's what I want you to understand. People who disappear are running from themselves, not from you. They're avoiding their own discomfort, their own fear of confrontation, their own inability to handle adult emotions. They're choosing the easy way out, and in doing so, they're showing you exactly who they are. When someone disappears, they're telling you, I don't have the emotional courage to be honest with you. I don't have the maturity to handle difficult conversations. I don't have the character to treat you with basic respect. Believe them. Believe what their silence is telling you. Don't wait for their words to confirm what their actions have already made clear. Alfred Adler taught us that all behavior has a purpose. The purpose of disappearing is to avoid responsibility. The purpose of ghosting is to escape the discomfort of honesty. The purpose of silence is to transfer their emotional burden onto you. Don't carry their burden. Don't make their cowardice about your worth. Don't shrink yourself to accommodate people who can't even extend you basic human courtesy. The no would have hurt for a day, maybe a week. But the disappearance? That's been haunting you for months. Because rejection you can process, but abandonment, that rewires your brain to expect it everywhere. You start pulling back in other relationships. You start questioning people's intentions. You start building walls to protect yourself from future disappearances. And slowly, the person who ghosted you starts controlling your ability to connect with everyone else. That's not healing. That's not protection. That's letting their emotional immaturity dictate your emotional future. You know what's tragic? You're more worried about being too much for someone who gave you nothing than you are about being too little for yourself. You're more concerned about their comfort than your own dignity. Stop that. Stop right now. Nathaniel Branden wrote about the 6 pillars of self-esteem, and one of them is the practice of self-acceptance. You have to accept that some people will disappear from your life, and that says nothing about your value as a human being. You are not too much for the right person. You are not too little for someone who truly sees you. You are not the problem in someone else's inability to communicate like an adult. The disappearance broke you, but it also freed you. It freed you from someone who was never going to choose you consistently. It freed you from someone who was never going to fight for the relationship. It freed you from someone who was never going to love you the way you deserve to be loved. Think about it. Do you really want to be with someone who handles conflict by disappearing? Do you want to build a life with someone who runs when things get uncomfortable? Do you want to love someone who treats people as disposable? No, you don't. And deep down, you know that. You don't need closure from them. You need closure from yourself. You need to close the door on the story that their disappearance means something is wrong with you. You need to close the door on the belief that you're too much or not enough. You are enough. You have always been enough. Their inability to see that, to stay and fight for that, to communicate that, that's their loss, not your failure. The no would have hurt your ego. The disappearance hurt your soul. But your soul is stronger than their silence. Your worth is bigger than their absence. Your future is brighter than their memory. Stop waiting for them to come back and explain. Stop hoping they'll realize what they lost. Stop making their return the condition for your healing. Here's what you do instead. You choose yourself. You choose your peace. You choose your dignity. You choose to stop giving someone who disappeared the power to make you disappear from your own life. You are not a placeholder in someone else's story. You are not a maybe. You are not a someday. You are a right now, and you deserve someone who sees that, who stays for that, who fights for that. The disappearance broke you, but it also woke you up. It showed you what you will no longer accept. It showed you what you truly deserve. It showed you that you are strong enough to survive someone's absence. You are not broken. You are not damaged. You are not too much. You are healing. And healing looks like choosing yourself even when others don't. Healing looks like knowing your worth even when others can't see it. Healing looks like walking away from silence and walking toward people who speak your language of respect. The no would have been honest. The disappearance was cruel. But you are neither. You are worthy of honesty, worthy of respect, worthy of someone who stays and fights for love instead of running from it. Remember that. Choose that. Believe that. You are worth staying for. And if they couldn't see that, if they couldn't stay for that, if they couldn't fight for that way, then they were never your person to begin with. The disappearance didn't break you. It broke the illusion that they were capable of loving you the way you deserve to be loved. Thank them for showing you who they are. Thank them for freeing you from a future of walking on eggshells. Thank them for making space for someone who won't disappear when love gets real. You are not the problem. You never were. You are the solution to your own healing. You are the answer to your own prayers. You are the love you've been looking for. Choose yourself. Stay for yourself. Fight for yourself. You are worth it.